Welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name's Jenny Senaparatna. Grab your favorite drink, get yourself a snack, and we'll get started. Today, I have an African tea that is a black tea, and it's super delicious. A friend brought it back for me, and thank you so much. And I have my favorite cookies, those little ginger lotus cookies that she also brought. Woohoo! I'm living large. So let's get real. So we just got back from a ministry trip to New Mexico and Texas. I'm going to tell you, it was fabulous. That's because now I'm home. No, it was actually a really good trip. Except when we got to New Mexico, it snowed. I did cry a little. You don't go to New Mexico and Texas for it to be cold when you're a Minnesotan in January. But that's what happened. And it snowed and it was super, super cold the last day that we were in Texas. But I hear that it's back up to regular temperatures now. So maybe we'll go back. But I want to talk a little bit about one of the days that we were there. We had a free day, and we were going to go to a place called Waco. We were staying in Fort Worth, and I looked online. I wanted to go see Chip and Joanne stuff. And if you're big fans, that's great. I'm not a huge fan. I haven't watched it in about 4 or 5 years. I haven't watched their reality show. And I looked online to kind of get some information because someone had said, hey, you need to go see this. And it was 2 hours away. So it was a 2-hour trip one way, 2-hour trip the other way. And I was looking and they were like, be ready for hour-long lines and Disney park lines. And I was like, okay, I know they're supposed to have fabulous cupcakes there, but I think an hour in line for a cupcake is even a little bit too much for me. So I freaked out. We didn't go. So that morning, I'm kind of like, what should we do? And I had heard from several people that live in that area that I'd say, hey, what's a must do? They said you need to go to the Fort Worth Stockyards. And I was like, okay, what's that? Don't really know. In fact, really didn't do any research whatsoever. I know you're really shocked, right? Like Jenny's just showing up to see what happens. So we get there, we park several blocks away because I'm like, I don't want to pay for parking. I don't know what we're going to here. This seems like a little Wall Drug-ish. If you've never been to Wall Drug, you need to go because they say you need to go, right? But it's pretty much a town in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of shops. That's pretty much all that Wall Drug is. And so I was like, is this what this stockyard is? Now I found out they have rodeos, they have a bunch of shows and different things that you can go to at different times. We were not there during one of those times. So we're walking around the shops, trying on cowboy hats, knowing that we're never going to buy a cowboy hat because I don't know that works in my lifestyle right now. Unless there was a black one, then I'd be wearing black from head to toe. But, there we are. So we're walking around and we see something that catches my eye. Now they had the big longhorned bulls come out and they walk the streets, and those were amazing. I was like, I've never seen, I've seen pictures, but I've never seen anything like that in real life. My daughter actually got up on one and sat on one and got her picture taken, and it was just super fun. I was like, there you go, girl. I did not do that. But we were walking along and we're kind of getting to the end of the shops and different pieces like that. And I see a mechanical bull. Now, it is extremely empty in this area right now. And there is, we went around lunchtime, 11 to 1, somewhere in there. We were there and there was nobody there. It was 45 degrees. So people were freezing. We were living I was like, this is amazing. I'm just in a sweatshirt and I am warm. So we get there and I see this mechanical bull and I'm like, I have to do this. This has been on my bucket list for years. I need to do this. There's no one around because that's one of the things. I don't want to do it when there's 1,000 people watching me and I'm going to fall off and, be a complete buffoon, but there's no one around. So we go over and we're like, how much does it cost? And he's like, it's $9. And I'm like, $9 for a bucket list. Woo, let's do this. And so we pay the money. Well, my husband paid the money. I don't know if I could have done both, get on the bowl and pay. But I get down and it's like that rubber, bounce house kind of feel around this mechanical bowl. And I realize at this moment, it is taller than my shoulders. Like I am standing next to it and my shoulders and the top of the bowl are exactly the same height. And I'm like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this. It's been on my list for years. I'm not doing it. And I'm like, Kev, I'm not doing this. And he was like, you're getting on the bowl. And I'm like, I'm not. And he's like, yeah, you are. And the guy up in the booth was like, ma'am, I'll help you on. And I was like, okay, ma'am needs to be helped on because I couldn't jump on. Like, it was too big. Like, I am not an athlete. Like, this is just not a good situation. So he helps me on the bowl. I get on the top and I believe, now I don't know because I haven't looked at the video, but you think that Jenny should have gone, let me pose for a picture because my daughter and my husband were taking pictures. Let me pose for a really good picture. Oh no, I was too afraid. I was completely petrified. The guy's like, okay, so you need to lean back when it goes forward. Just hang on and it's going to be fine. And I'm like, it's going to be fine. I am 47 years old and this is a long fall. Because, you see people fall off these things all the time on videos, right? This is a long fall. And that is not as cushy. That bounce house material does not look as cushy as my 47-year-old body needs when I fall off this moving bowl. So he starts moving it and I am squealing. I'm not real sure it was with the light, to be honest with you. I am petrified. Like I go back and forth. I don't know how long. I feel like I was on the bowl for like 4 or 5 hours. Like it it was just completely wild. And eventually I said, stop, I'm done. And the guy was like, you just started. I'm like, stop, I'm done. And he was like, okay. So he stopped the bowl. I got off the bowl because I knew I was about to fall. Like I could feel that my body was like, I've held on long enough. And honestly, it could have been like 30 seconds. I don't know how long it was. I'm not even going to ask or watch the video. My husband took a couple still shots, and those will never be seen by anybody because I look like a complete lunatic. I'm just screaming at the top of my lungs. So we do this, I get off, and I feel like $1 million. Other than my body has used muscles now that it didn't know it had, because I've never had to hold on with my legs to anything before. And so I'm sore the next day. I was a little weak and wobbly right afterwards. So I'm sure I was on there for more than 3 or 4 seconds, right? Like, but at least I didn't fall. And so I'm feeling a little wobbly and, we go through the day. We have a wonderful cheeseburger at probably the best cheeseburger I've ever eaten in my life. If you ever go to Fort Worth, let me know and I will tell you what this cheeseburger place is called. But it was so delicious. We ate outside. I mean, it was like a perfect day. So yesterday, we come home and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go and check this off my bucket list because I've got this list of 101 things on my bucket list. I've done podcasts about it before. And I'm like, I'm going to go check this off my bucket list because finally, about once a year, I try to do something, right? And so I go and I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking and I realize it's not on my bucket list. No, for real. This thing that's I've been held over my head forever. Every time I'm like, I need to do that because it's on my bucket list. Jenny, who is adventurous, made this bucket list because there's parasailing, there's skiing, there's going on a skidoo or whatever they are, those jet skis on a lake. Super adventurous Jenny made this list, and now 47-year-old Jenny is going, what was I thinking? So I'm like, I finally did one of those adventurous things, and it's not even on my list. So what did I do? Totally honest. I've been talking for years now since I made the relish to rewrite my bucket list. And so I did. I wrote all the things that I had accomplished on the bucket list from before, which were 27 items I had already done. And then I rewrote the ones that I had not done, and I kept the ones off that I no longer want to do, like parasailing, bungee jumping, those kind of things all came off that list. But I did put mechanical bull, and I put the date, and there we go. Now, I was thinking about it last night as I was making this new bucket list, and I don't have that many items on there yet because I don't want to make the same mistake I made last time, where I put on all these things that everybody else put on their bucket list. So I kind of went through and read one that for women, 200 things every woman should do. And so I read through the list, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good if I don't do those things. Because one of them's go a week without makeup. And I'm like, or go a week with makeup. That might be, I'm just not that kind of person. So I'm trying to write a bucket list that really has to do with who I am and where God's calling me and where He wants to push me and make me grow in different areas. Now, I honestly would not have ridden the bull if I had known it was not on my bucket list. I'm being real here. There's no way that I've been you know what? I'm going to put my life in danger. I mean, and granted, I know it's not, but I am not a tough rough. That is just not something I am. And I knew if I fell off that, I would be hobbling for weeks. I just knew it. And I don't think I would have done it without my bucket list. So I'm asking you today, what in your life have you done, first of all, because you thought it was something you were supposed to do and it ended up being fun anyway? Or what are you holding on to that maybe you need to let go of? Those goals that you made 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago that are no longer relevant? Is it time to kind of scratch those off and say, you know what? I'm now in a place in my life where jumping out of a plane is no longer something that sounds exciting to me? Or are you now at the point that you're now it is exciting to me? Is it time? What I have on our fridge is bob and weave. And I've talked about this before. Is it time to bob and weave? Are there things that you need to add to your list of this is what I want to accomplish? Maybe not today, maybe not this week, but maybe this year. Are there things that you are kind of feeling a little niggling? I've always kind of wanted to do. And maybe you need to do that. Maybe you need to it's just as simple as I've always wanted to eat a cupcake for breakfast and that be my breakfast. And maybe you need to make that part of something that you're doing. I am just encouraging you to open up that door again and start dreaming and think about some fun things that you can do that might push you in a situation like I was in. We really had nothing to do that day. We were just hanging out as a family, enjoying each other's company. And I did something that I never would have done unless I thought it was on my bucket list. And so maybe you need to put some of those things on there just to push you outside your comfort zone and have some fun. Maybe live a little bit more adventurously. Or, like me, you can start cutting that adventure off and adding some new things. And I'm going to be adding eat a cupcake for breakfast. That will be added to my bucket list as soon as I'm off this. Well, that's all I have for you this week. I just hope that you are excited about where you're going. If you are looking at your future with dread, it is time to add some things into that. It is time to put something down on a list and say, these are the things I want to accomplish. If you are, I just really encourage you to bob and weave and say, I've always done things this way, but I'm going to do a little bit of change. And so when I'm on vacation, I'm looking for opportunities to do things that I've always thought might be fun. Well, you can find me at Real Life with Jenny on Instagram, Facebook, and Be Real. Join me on Be Real. It's really fun there. You can also find me at christconnection.cc/Jen. I am scheduling for fall and Christmas right now. If you have any opportunities for your women's ministries, I would love to come out and just be an encouragement to you all. You all have a really great week, and let's get excited about some new bucket list items.